Welcome back to Fieldcraft Chronicles. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the greatest survival operation in human history, one that didn't happen in the trenches, but in the vast, churning machinery behind them. While soldiers fought and died in the mud of the Western Front, an army of unseen hands moved mountains of supplies across oceans, continents, and battlefields. This is the story of how wars are truly won, not by the bullet fired, but by the 10,000 miles that bullet travelled to reach the firing line. Picture a single British soldier in a trench near Passchendaele in 1917. That man depends entirely on a supply chain stretching back to factories in Manchester, farms in Canada, and ammunition works in Pennsylvania. Without this invisible network, his rifle becomes a club, his courage meaningless, his position untenable within days. Every dawn on the Western Front began the same way, with the rattle of wagons emerging from the morning mist. Supply columns stretched for miles, horse-drawn carts laden with ammunition boxes, water cans and ration tins moving forward, while ambulances carried broken men back. The logistics officers who coordinated these movements were fighting a battle as complex as any artillery barrage. Consider the mathematics of survival. A single British division of 15,000 men consumed 20 tons of food and fodder daily, along with 30 tons of ammunition during active operations. Multiply this across dozens of divisions. Factor in the destruction of roads by shelling, the seasonal transformation of French clay into impassable morass, and you begin to understand the fieldcraft required just to keep men alive. The supply sergeants became masters of improvisation, turning shell-damaged buildings into forward depots, establishing dump sites in communication trenches, and organizing relay teams to hand-carry supplies the final mile when vehicles could go no further. Behind every successful offensive lay months of preparation, invisible to the soldiers who would eventually advance. Engineer companies worked through darkness to lay narrow-gauge railways that snaked toward the front, each section of track carefully camouflaged by day to avoid German observation. These light railways became the circulatory system of the Western Front, carrying everything from 18-pound shells to barbed wire, from duckboards to rum rations. The men who operated them developed their own fieldcraft, reading terrain for concealed routes, timing movements between enemy artillery patterns, maintaining equipment with improvised repairs using battlefield salvage. Picture a supply train crew at night, working by touch alone, unloading crates under sporadic shelling while counting every minute before dawn would expose them. This was survival logistics, where a single mistake in timing or route selection could mean death for dozens and starvation for thousands. Yet even these forward supply lines depended on an even more audacious feat of logistics, crossing the Atlantic itself. Every week, convoys of merchant ships braved German U-boats to deliver American grain, Canadian timber, and Argentine beef to British ports. The coordination required was staggering, scheduling ships across multiple ports, organizing anti-submarine escorts, managing cargo distribution to prevent bottlenecks at docks already straining beyond capacity. Longshoremen and railway workers became frontline logistics troops, racing against time to move supplies inland before the next convoy arrived. This maritime supply chain represented humanity's first truly global survival operation, a testament to what coordination and determination could achieve when failure meant collapse. The logistics officers and supply sergeants of the world wars understood something fundamental: preparation and systems matter more than individual heroics. Their legacy teaches us that true resilience comes from building networks, maintaining adaptability under pressure, and understanding that survival is rarely about the single moment of crisis, but about the 100 small decisions made beforehand. In our modern world of self-reliance and preparedness, we can learn from their systematic approach to resource management, their ability to improvise under constraints, and their understanding that every tool, every supply cache, every backup plan is another link in a chain of survival. If this journey through history's invisible war machine has shown you something new about survival and logistics, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles and share this with anyone who understands that real preparedness is built on knowledge, planning, and the lessons hard won by those who came before us.